brand new Come Up with Katia coming your way, presented by Redwood Empire Whiskey. Amazing brand based here in California, actually Northern California, inspired by the amazing redwood trees that grace this beautiful state that we live in. We have Angelo Tsarouchas on today's show. He is an actor and comedian. Of course, he's Greek. We, of course, talk about our upbringings in Greek American and Greek Canadian upbringings and how he got out to this crazy place called Los Angeles.
You know, I just got off the road after 8 months.
Oh my God.
8 months, like literally 8 months on the road. Australia, Canada,
like
Europe, just cruises and theaters and tigers and lions. Oh my. Just like, that's what I'm actually home. And my daughter's like, you know what she said to me? She's a little shit. She goes, you know, Daddy, now that you're home, Uncle Scott from Home Depot doesn't come around as much.
Oh my God.
Little Scotto. I go, what? What? Oh, did I say anything bad?
How old is she?
She's 9.
Oh shit, she's like,
oh yeah. She's like funny as shit. She was like, good, Daddy? I goes, good.
That's funny.
My wife goes, you encourage her. I go, she's funny.
You know, yeah.
She's funny.
You gotta follow in the footsteps.
I told her that Joe Biden shit his pants when he met the Pope, and she was laughing in the car about it. I'm like, don't tell her that. You Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump Canadian. I can't even vote. I'm not a Trump supporter.
Are you still Canadian citizen?
I'm still Canadian citizen.
But obviously you dual because you're
permanent.
wife.
Yeah, permanent.
Yeah.
And I'm going to apply for my American citizenship.
Are you?
Yeah.
Do you have to get rid of your Canada then?
No.
You can
keep
do
it.
both.
I keep it, and my daughter can get Canadian status also.
Right.
And that's good for her when she wants to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be cheaper than here.
Okay.
You know, so it'll be cheaper.
Oh my God. What does your wife do?
Spend money.
Nice.
Spend a lot of money. No, actually,
Smart lady.
she facilitates. She used to work at CBS.
Okay.
She worked with Adam Sandler, Jane Bourne, those guys in that
Nice.
business. And now, you know what? She takes care of our business. So she facilitates. She facilitates all the online stuff and all my stuff, and then she's a mom.
Yeah.
You
Has
know,
your family been on the road with you?
Oh yeah, I've been
I
on
guess
the road.
it's probably hard now that your daughter's
It's
in
hard
school.
now, but when she's out of school, but we do the Greek thing. We take her out sometimes. I took her to Canada to see Yaya because my mom hadn't seen her. I told us I said, look, my mom was in the hospital. She wants to see her granddaughter, and they go, okay.
And they let you during the pandemic?
Yeah.
And they let you in?
No, not during the pandemic, but just recently when in school. So and you know, I'm not so I was doing the cruise on the Harmony, and then my wife's a Disney fanatic, so we were going to Disney.
Nice.
So I said, look, come to Florida, and I'll take you to Orlando. So, but then it was a school strike, so Olivia only missed 1 day of school.
Oh my God.
Remember that last 2 years ago? And I'm like, you know what? Who cares? And everybody, and my wife goes, she's funny. Alina says to me, so these things will set you off, but taking your daughter out of school, going to Greece, and it doesn't bother you. It's Greeks. We're nuts. I said, you know, the things, but I thought that would bother you, but it doesn't. No, because she's having an experience.
I was going to say, she's learning
She's
things.
learning something as opposed to here. She's learning, you know, and now
Then
they're
sitting at home and doing whatever.
Last year I filmed something in Santorini.
Did you?
Yeah, with Pavlo. So we're going to put something out. So we filmed. So I brought the family. Last year, you could go LA to Athens, July 28th, peak season, to August 14, $691 return. I'm not kidding you. We booked 3 tickets. $691. So my sister in Montreal goes, why'd you guys go to Greece? It was fuck COVID. It was $690 a ticket return to go to Greece. And they gave me a budget of $2,500 for the ticket. I got 3 tickets and had money left over.
My flight to Greece this year was cheaper than flying like to New York.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah,
it's
I believe
insane right now.
New York and Canada are crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but
did you go back to Canada during the pandemic at all?
You know, when they opened it up a little bit, Katia, it was last November. I did a cross Atlantic cruise, and then I had to go see my mom because she wasn't, you know, I hadn't seen her. She, you know, wasn't feeling good. Mm-hmm. So I went up for 4 days. They opened it, and then they closed after. So
even though you have a passport, they wouldn't let you in.
Oh no, because the Canadians were very strict about COVID and COVID things.
Yeah.
And Funny enough, when I went to Australia, I didn't need a COVID test. And the last time I went to Canada, I didn't need it. But to come back into the US, I needed it. And it changed on, if I'm mistaken, June 12th. They just left it at like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So it's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, I have a question. I've always wondered this about like performing on cruise ships.
Yeah.
What do you do the rest of the time? You just hang out? Just
Kill
chill?
myself.
Because you're by yourself, right?
Well, see, here's the thing. It's a great gig, okay?
Of course.
It's a great gig. They put you in a nice cabin. They fly you. The food's included. Now, most comedians are addicts.
Yes.
So, alcohol, which I don't drink anymore. Alcohol. Food. No food. Gambling. No gambling. Women. Because what happens in a lot of these cruises sometimes, I'm the comic, so I'll go up. I like cigars. So I'll go have a cigar in the deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go have a cigar in the deck. And then what happens is that you'll be sitting there minding your business, but you're the guy that made them laugh. So you're sitting there and something, I'm not wearing my rings. Somebody said, you're not wearing a ring. I don't think it matters. It's actually, it helps having a ring. So what happens, you'll be sitting there and they go, and a lot of these people are on drink packages. So they've been whamming them all day. Yeah, hammered. And we're working. There's a conduct policy. We're working. So you don't want to be the guy that, says, oh no. You're sitting there and she goes, so what's going on? Well, this one woman come up to me, very attractive. She, can I join you for a smoke? Sure. And she said to me, I said, how's it going? She goes, I saw you. Very funny.
Okay.
She goes to me, do you make love the way you tell jokes? I kid you not. And I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, my husband's in the cabin. He can't get it up. He's like living dead.
Oh,
where's your cabin?
God.
Let's go there right now. And I'm like, and I said to her, it's so funny. You tell the truth. It doesn't work. I'm married. I talked about my wife in my act. Oh, I know you're married. I'm married. We have a lot in common.
So this is why she goes on cruises.
Yeah.
Hit on
comedians.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I'm like, I'm married. I'm not looking to ruin. I don't want to get another husband. I just want to get some. So it's amazing how people can rationalize it. Now, when you're in the middle of the ocean and there's nobody around, you're like, and so everything for me, the gig is great, but every vice that I want is also on that ship.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't.
And you're in the middle of the ocean.
You're in the middle of the ocean. Stuck. And you're like, I could go for a walk. How many walks can you do? And you're in the buffet. I got salad and soup. And the guy walks up and he goes, is that all you're having? I said, I'm trying to watch my weight a bit. He goes, you get all the other food. No, I know, but I'm trying to watch it.
Yeah.
So you don't win. So I had salad and soup. Oh, you got to eat more. And if I'm sitting here with a double cheeseburger, a hot dog, and fries, like, really? Why don't you have a salad and soup? I go, because I get it. Yeah.
It's
just like, it's a good gig, but you're Katia, you're sitting around. You're just sitting around.
Right. And how long are they? Like, I would imagine
a week, 2 weeks, sometimes a week.
Okay.
So I did a whole bunch of them, which is great. I headlined on the ships. I'm going again in September. I'm going from Seattle. I'm going to Alaska.
Ooh, fun.
So it's going to be fun to do Alaska cruise.
Do you get to get off too?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Get the ship. And we're going, so I'll probably be able to go to see up in Juneau or Skyway, where those places are up there,
Okay.
Bring a jacket.
Yeah.
Bring a jacket up there. It'll feel like Minnesota or Canada.
Love it. Well, and September in LA, in my opinion, is awful because you want it to be fall when you're from the northern states, and it's like 95, 100 degrees here.
Right.
I hate it. Like I get like crabby in the fall here.
Yeah, it's like it's a slight change of season. But first time I moved to LA, it was first Christmas. It was 86 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I'm here.
Really?
I like that. Yeah, I had enough of the snow in Canada.
Yeah, I get it.
I wouldn't mind it for 4 days and want to leave.
Right. You just want it for Christmas and then come back.
Christmas, come back.
I agree. Well, let's dive let's go back to Canada.
Okay.
Let's talk about your childhood. I mean, we're not going to do a whole therapy.
I had to bring it up.
But how old were you when
I opened my first restaurant?
Before that, where you thought like, you know what, entertainment could be a career path.
Interesting. Nobody in my family's in entertainment.
Right.
Nobody. You know, traditionally,
Sure.
Greek
Restaurant.
immigrant parents, Canada, we come along. My dad was in the food business, food catering business, like a lot of, you know.
Of course.
You
You guys have a restaurant as well?
Yeah, we had a restaurant
What
and
was
food
it called?
catering. We had a restaurant called the Steer Burger Drive-In.
Okay.
Best burgers in Ottawa.
Why do Greeks make the best burgers?
We
What
do
is
make
that?
the best burgers,
Yeah.
and we still make the best burgers.
Yeah.
So I always tell all the comics I work with, you want a good burger, you're going to find a Greek place.
Mhm.
That's where you're going to eat your burgers.
Yep. You're
Why?
going to see
Because
a tiny little Greek flag somewhere.
somewhere in the menu, if there's
Somewhere.
feta and tomato on the burger, you eat there.
Yeah.
If there's a feta tomato burger, you eat there. And they make soups. You go to Chicago, it's breakfast, burgers, and soup.
Mhm.
And we make the best soups and best burgers. So funny enough, I guess at a young age, don't ask me why, I used to watch these guys on TV. And I like how empowered they were that they were making people laugh. So I used to listen to albums when you used to have discs, you know, because I'm older. But, and I listened to Red Fox, Jackie Mason, Bill Cosby, you know. You'd listen to all these guys, Pryor, and then Rodney Dangerfield. And I just loved that power of it, you know, making people laugh. But then I realized later on in my life that there's got to be something off about you. To go to the other end of the world, to get in front of 3,000 people and just start talking to them. Well, it's only job description. Somebody said, well, what's it like? I go, you don't know. You never know. Last night we did the Canada show at the Comedy Store, which is a big deal. Sebastian and those guys were next door. We did this thing. I think the best comics living in Los Angeles, and there's a lot of Canadians. The fourth largest Canadian city is Los Angeles.
Is
believe
it?
or not.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, then LA.
No way.
Then Ottawa. Yeah, it's over one.
Not in the rest of Canada.
Not yet. 1.1 million Canadians live in Southern California.
It's because there's so many who are entertainment.
Entertainment, and they hate the snow.
Right.
You know, so, and weirdly enough, now, my mom is from Lesbos. She's a Nisiotisa. Nisiotisa is somebody from the islands. And my family was from Smyrna, which was Asia Minor, when after the Turks threw us all out with the Armenians, for people listening. And they ended up in these islands like Samos and Lesbos. My mom was the humorist. My mom would tell the funny stories.
Really?
My mom is still funny. And I can tell my mom any joke and she doesn't get upset. Like I say, Mom, we did this, we did that. Oh, okay. And my mom, because she's more open. Where my dad is from Sparta. This is Sparta. And it's like we don't understand something, we kill it. And that's the attitude. Now, I have both. So I have the drive I have to do this is from my dad. But I think the talent is from my mom.
That's
so
so
the
interesting.
two together. And it's because somebody asked me and they were like, what gives you the motivation? Growing up in a restaurant or a food service establishment is a boot camp or a blueprint for life.
100%. 100%.
The Greeks show you how to survive. And at the end of the day, I think all of us in the entertainment business, whether you're an architect, whether you're an astronaut, whether you're the director of the CIA or whatever, because you're all, at the end of the day, and I'll say this to you, Katia, and you understand this, the Greeks have a survival instinct like nobody has.
Right.
So if this doesn't go good, don't worry about it. We'll find something else to do. It's never like, I always looked at what I do as a privilege. So it's a combination of work, and we're not scared to work. You're the same way. You guys are doing the same thing. It takes work to get it done. I set up a Canada show, for example. Nobody else will do it. So this Greek Canadian kid from Montreal who grew up in Ottawa and lived in Toronto, I get the idea. I put it together, and I got some of the best Canadian comics in the world. Jeremy Hotz, Ian Bagg, Ryan Belleville, these guys. So many amazing comics. Steph Tolev, she's up and coming. The second girl you saw.
She was awesome.
Killer.
She was hilarious.
And she's got a thing on Netflix, and that's the first time I met her.
She was great.
She's great.
Yeah, she had like a almost like a physical comedy aspect to her too.
Going at it.
Yeah.
And it's funny how you take that work ethic and you just drive, and people say, what was your secret to anything? It's work. There's no secret. Everybody wants lightning in a bottle.
Sure.
And we learned it the hard way. And so I realized from there, I would listen to the albums and I listen to stuff. And later on, I do it. You know, I was working at the restaurant.
Were they your mom's albums? If she liked the comedy side?
My friend's brother had them. And he lent them to me. So they went. Now, there's one Greek comedian we used to listen to, Hadi Klin.
Okay.
Who was a comedian from Greece who was another influence on me. I thought he was hilarious. So I put him in that category of those great comedians. And at night, I'd sit there in my bed and listen to them. And my mom would go to bed. You know, like, what the hell, you still up? And my brother's like, you know, turn off the stupid comedy. But I could sit there and listen to it over and over again. Yeah. I liked it. Jackie Mason, he talked like this. And when the guy comes over here and he goes over there, I love the way they spoke. I envisioned them the way I saw them. And then I realized, though, you know, we grew up, my parents were like, look, we got to survive here. Mm-hmm. So we came from okay, do your work. And then if you have time after, do this. Okay, whatever. But I realized now, I didn't see it then, but I realize it now. I'm like, the fearlessness is from my dad. My father's dream was always to come to America.
How old was he when he came?
He came to Canada when he was 15 years old.
Okay.
He never went to America, which is funny. My dad hated Canada. He said, yeah, it's funny. He goes, it's your country. Love it and respect it. But personally, I hate it. It's too cold and too much tax.
Yeah.
Spoken like a real Greek. And then, so funny enough, he didn't like it. His friends were in Boston and New York, and they kind of liked it. He goes, they're making more money. It's America. It's better. Canada's socialist, you know, whatever. But funny enough, I kind of realized his dreams later. I moved to LA.
Yeah.
So weird.
It's like a fulfilling
weird circle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he wanted to go to the States and I did.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Was there, so when you're, everyone that who's ever worked in a restaurant, like truly knows what it's like to work in a restaurant.
Sure.
I also think that everyone should have to work at a restaurant at some point. Like, just as a human, I think we'd all be better humans.
Yes.
If you have.
Yes.
Is there any job in a restaurant that you haven't done?
No.
Really?
No, I've done it all.
Host,
cook, waiter, prepper, everything. Because when you own a restaurant, you have to assume many hats.
Right.
So if the host doesn't show up, yeah, you're the host. If the cook doesn't show up, Malaka, get in the kitchen, you're cooking. If there's no prep, my friend has a very successful restaurant in Montreal called Le Jardin des Panos. Le Jardin des Panos, Panos Garden. Excellent. If you guys ever go to Montreal, I got to go. It's excellent Greek food.
Yeah.
And great. It's about 400 or 500 seat restaurant in the plateau, which is very cool. It's like a garden. They can't get employees. They can't find employees. His parents are in their early 80s. And they're still skewering chicken and beef kebabs, souvlaki and I'm like, look, because they don't, and I go to the dad, what are you doing? He goes, there's nobody here. I got to help the kids. So they will roll up their sleeves because that's what they know. Mm-hmm. It's no complaint. I hear people complain. The fuck is going on? How come the guy didn't do this? They're like, no, we got customers. We got to serve them.
Just handle it.
Like last night, we went to Norm's on La Cienega.
Oh, the best.
With the
Did you
Norm's.
get steak and eggs?
We were trying to. 12 of us sat there. No wait staff. So the guy came over and said, look, we got to wait for the waiter to show up or waitress.
There's no one?
No wait staff. They had one guy on the right side and one on the left.
Oh my
But they didn't have enough. It was packed. No, it's like the airlines. We have customers. We have flights. We don't have flight attendants.
Yeah.
We don't have pilots. So this is, and all I sat in my head, I sat there last night going, if this was Greek owned, they're getting served.
Right.
The cook would have came out, the mom, dad, somebody would have got the order. Tzaka, it's going to be done.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore. And right away, my instinct kicked in, and I was like, this isn't we can fix this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could probably go in, but it's so funny how, and that's just something that's happening now. I think it's something that's this whole no employees. I've been on flights going to Miami, and they canceled the flight that didn't have enough pilots or flight attendants. I mean, you know, and then they're saying jobs, I don't know. But for us, and I think I maybe knew or didn't know, born in Montreal, raised in Ottawa, married, divorced, lost everything. In 1 year, lost my dad, lost my business, ended my marriage.
Okay, wait.
Am I jumping the gun on you?
We gotta go back. Because how did you love comedy, but then when you go to be an adult, you don't go that route?
No, because what happened? I was doing it. I liked it.
You were
performing, and then that word love.
Oh man.
Came into it. And I won this contest. It was called the Labatt Crystal Comedy Pageant, hosted by Bobby Bittman, played by Eugene Levy. So Eugene Levy, because his career wasn't going great, he was hosting this thing at the time. Now he's a superstar.
Right.
And I remember going to do this television show, my first TV show.
Was this in Toronto or
in Toronto? It was in Toronto. But I was living in Ottawa.
How far is that?
But by driving 4.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
By airplane, 45 minutes. Very close.
I can't get like the map of Canada.
I know, because you got Western, Eastern Canada. So
I got Vancouver,
Toronto.
Yep.
You have Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Maritimes, Western Canada. But it's so big.
It's huge.
It's just huge. And Winnipeg somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
which is nice
Minnesota.
Town. In Minnesota, it's closest right by Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, so I ended up doing this. I was dating a woman in Ottawa. And I got this opportunity. I went there and I was going to stay. Hindsight, maybe I should have, but I didn't. And I remember doing the contest and standing at St. Clair and Eglinton Avenue in Toronto. And you know the way you see the movie? A suitcase in one hand and an air ticket in the other.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do here? And I thought, my family had moved to Greece. I was by myself. I go, I want to do this. But I love this woman.
How long you guys?
And like
dating?
Every Greek tragedy, I picked the woman. You know, and then we were dating. We were friends in high school, kind of like sweethearts, we were friends. And then later on, we ended up getting together. She got married, divorced, and then she was Greek, of course. And it was, I mean, there was some wonderful years there, but then it just, you know, it went sour.
And when you got married, you stopped comedy altogether?
Well, I was still doing it once in a while. I was hosting it. So there's a Yuck Yucks club where I started in Ottawa, a fantastic club. And that's where like Norm Macdonald, Mike McDonald, Jeremy Hotz, Tom Green, we're all from that group. And shout out to Howard Wagman, because Howard is the man who's gelling that place and still gels that place. And I still play there because I love him. And that's where we got our start. I used to work there as a bartender. I worked there, you know, if you want to get into comedy, you got to work the door. That's the Greek thing.
Yeah.
You guys need a bar. Oh, we have a bartender. I can bartend. You sure? Yeah. I was nothing. Basic drinks. Like,
yeah.
You need a doorman? I'll do a doorman. You need a dishwasher? I'll wash the dishes. Because I learned, even when I moved to Toronto, because I'm jumping a bit here.
No, go for it.
So what happened was my dad passed away. I lost my business, all my businesses. I was in the travel business.
Okay.
So in the
Very
travel,
like my Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah, kind of like Big Fat Greek Wedding. I travel business. I had 14 people working at the business. Owned a diner, owned half a bowling alley, and a suntanning parlor. Because that's what you do. You have businesses.
You have 5 jobs.
You have 5 jobs.
Every Greek has 5 jobs. Is this right?
Right. You have all 5 things going. You have 5 things going because this is going to work. That's going to work.
Hit.
Something's going to hit.
My dad always said, keep swinging the bat because something's going to hit.
He's
one
right.
day you're going to hit.
He's right.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then everything went to shit. And then
How did it go to shit?
Well, my partner had a
business partner.
Yeah, business partner who I was also married to.
Ew.
Kind of had a little bit of a gambling issue.
Okay.
You know, although I never admitted it. And like every marriage is, I wasn't a saint. That's not the point. But when you're spending money, that's your money. And that went out, and then everything went to crap. And then my dad passed away. He had Alzheimer's, unfortunately. He was young. He had Alzheimer's. So In a year, I thought, Katia, marriage gone to shit.
Yeah.
Lost my dad, and I lost all my businesses. So what do? I get into the secure world of stand-up comedy again. I'm going to go to Toronto with a beat-up Buick that my Cubaro gave me, 85 Buick Regal, which ran good, bonded up the sides, $900 cash, and I went to Toronto and started my life over again.
How did you decide that though? Like you're at the bottom. You're just like, this is what I've always wanted to do.
I wanted to do it. And remember I told you I was standing at the corner with the ticket and the suitcase.
Yeah.
And it was a metaphor for my life because I realized I could have picked one or the other. I picked love. Now, everybody says, well, why'd you do? Hold on. I said, life, you have to make a decision. And a lot of people we know don't make decisions. I made a decision because I thought, I love this woman, at the time.
Yeah.
So if my wife's listening, I really, now I don't think it's so long ago, but that part of my life, I realized I had to do that to get here to talk to you. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And it's funny because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
I'd probably still be there.
Yeah.
It's so weird, or maybe it goes another direction. So then I started doing it and broke. I mean,
quick question.
Yeah.
Do you think that bad things truly happen in threes?
I think good and bad.
Okay.
I think good and bad because everybody sees the negative. I see the positive.
Okay.
But you're right. The three, to me,
Yeah.
You're right. The Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. So that's very Greek. That's a good reference you just gave me, Katia. It's tatria, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I realized that was the calling. Number 3 is a very powerful number, and people don't realize it. It's a powerful symbol, the 3. And when all those 3 things happened, I was like, time to go. My body, my brain was all, you got to go. You can't stay here. You're going to be a shadow of yourself, I went to Toronto and then
85 Buick. I can picture it in my
85
head.
Buick, $900, white.
Okay.
Off white.
Did it have like that cloth top?
Yeah, the cloth top with the, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I remember going to Toronto and what happened was on College Street, Little Portugal, I'd given a deposit to the woman, a check. And like this is 1998. So internet's just starting to happen. Not really, and cell phones weren't really a thing just yet. I go to this woman and she goes, I'm very Christian. I go, yeah. And she goes, you're in entertainment business. I don't want that here. So I'm going to give you your check back. I don't want you to stay here. Now it's gone there. I'm like, where am I going to stay? So I had a few days. So I had to check, but the bank wasn't open now. It's Saturday. So, and it's a long weekend. So I go, I've only got like $900. I don't want to spend. So I drove, luckily it was around June. I drove by Queens Quay and I slept in my car for a couple of days.
Oh my God.
And I was.
Again, thank God it was June.
It was June, and it was like, I said, what are you going to do? And then I go, to there's a restaurant I go to, and maybe wash up a bit, get coffee in the morning. I waited a couple of days. And then I'm like, okay, I got to find a place to live. And at that time in Toronto, I couldn't find anywhere. And I met this girl up on Danforth in Greektown. Her name is Claire. We're still friends. And she was cute, but it never happened then, but whatever. And she said to me, where you been the last couple of days? Because I told her, I said, look, you know what? Now, I had relatives in Toronto.
You didn't know anyone in Toronto?
I did, but pride sets in.
Sure.
I didn't want to call them, and then they're going to remind you how you fucked up your life. Why did you do this? I didn't want to hear it. I said, no, I'm going to figure this out myself. So it's a couple of nights, slept in the car. That's homeless. But I thought I was temporary homeless. I didn't see it as, oh my God, I didn't give up on my life. It's just the way it worked out.
Yeah.
Because the born again is like, you can't come to my house. So funny enough, I went to Greektown. And it was so hard to find a place that had a basement apartment. It was in the paper for $350. Now, when I say basement apartment, if I was to describe it to you in a play, there was three rooms, one bathroom, the kitchen was right here, and 3 chairs and a table. That was the place, the basement. And I went to apply for this room. When I got there, there's got to be 40, 50 people waiting.
Really?
I'm not kidding you. You couldn't find a place, right? Everybody's looking to find a place to live in the city. I go up to this lady, Angeliki, very nice lady, and I went up to her, and she was the landlord. She owned the house. She had a big cross right here. And she comes up, I went up to her and I go, hi, my name's Angelo. I give it, she's Tsarouchas. You're Greek? Yeah, you speak Greek? Yeah. Do you go to church?
Did you at the time?
I did, but not as often.
Yeah, sure.
I do. She goes, do you go to church? Of course. When? Every Sunday. Oh, okay. So she says to me in Greek, I'm going to see a few more people. You seem like I get a good vibe off you. You're Greek. You go to church. She was all 3 of my sons are priests. This is like the jackpot of
again with the 3s.
Freaking the 3. I have 3 sons who are priests. I'm going to give it to you, she says to me, but just what? I'll call you after. Okay, so she let me get rid of the people. True to her word, she did. I moved in. The other guy whose name was Makis, he was a Greek sailor who jumped the ship and who was having marital problems with his wife and Trikala. He had 2 kids. And the other guy, I think, was satanist. Some other weird guy. I was just so weird, man. I was like, and the 3 of us lived together like 3 angry men. But that was funny.
You should write this.
I should write it. I thought about it. I want to make it into a play because this was my life.
Yeah.
And these guys would get into it, and I felt like I was in the middle of it. I was going through a breakup. This guy's going through a breakup. The other guy was just a chronic alcoholic, right? And they both would drink.
And how did she let him in?
I don't know, because they played that game with him at the beginning and after.
Yeah.
One time I came home, both of them, the one guy was Muslim, the other guy's Greek Orthodox. Both of them are drunk. I see a Quran and a Bible with a bottle of scotch, and one guy's got a fork in his shoulder sticking out. And they're so hammered. And I go, hey, Ralph, what? You got a fork in your shoulder. Where?
Oh, my
God. And I don't know if he was Muslim or not. That's not fair to Muslims because I think the guy was a white Canadian guy who was contrarian, right? I pulled it out of his arm. Yeah, pour me the bottle of whiskey. I'm looking at the whiskey. That looks like a nice whiskey there. And he go, give it a bottle of whiskey. They're whamming it up, and they both passed out. Like it was. I thought, oh my God, this is fucking hell, man. I mean, this is like, but this was my life. So I started doing that. I got an agent.
How'd you get an agent?
I got an agent.
How did you just move to Toronto and get an agent?
I got an agent. So what I did was when I moved to Toronto, I was kind of working with Yak Yak. So I went to the office and I met Evan Edelman, who I love you, Evan Edelman. He goes, come in. And we did that. You want to get in the show business? No Jews. Okay. This is the secret to show business. Have Jewish friends. They get it done, man. I know I was joking. You want a burger? Go to the Greeks. You want to get in the show business? You got to know Jews because they're the best. You can understand
a similar culture. Too.
A similar culture.
Very similar culture.
And Evan Edelman was great. Connie Winkleman, another doll. She passed away. So Evan was giving me gigs. The thing was I had to beat up Buick. A lot of comics didn't have a car. She goes, if you drive the other guys, I'll give you the gig.
No way.
So I was picking them up and I was emceeing, and that's how I was getting the gigs because a lot of guys didn't have the car. So I kept the car running well, and I charged them minimal for gas to go to the gig, but I'd pick and drop off at the house. So I needed a way to get in, and the other guys would complain, but they didn't have a car.
Right.
I go, hey, okay, Tim, I'll come and pick you up. You sure, man? Yeah, I'll come pick you up. I'm like, I wanted to get in with the guys. I got in with the guys. They like me. So then when they wanted to do gigs, they go, we'll go with Tsarouchas. He's got a car, and he'll come by and pick me up. So Mike Wilmot, Derek Edwards, funny comedians, Tim Nutt, Chuck Byrne, Mark Walker, Darren Frost, all these great Canadian comics. I go pick them up. Away we go.
So at this time, though, like, how did people book gigs? Was it word of mouth or like
word of mouth?
Yeah, real? Okay.
So you slowly build up. I work at the club, and then you build up. And The secret in comedy, you got to look and write stuff. Get on stage.
Right.
And I think it's the same in acting. It's the same in performing. Even if you're a darts master, you got to go throw darts.
Mm-hmm.
The more you throw, the better your aim's gonna get. You're gonna get more comfortable. So I learned just because everybody says to me now, I get people, what's the secret? Get up on stage. Fucking do it. Go. I've taken workshops, acting workshops, improv workshops, voice class, and you got to invest in yourself and find a way to do it. You have to find a way to do it. And that again, back to the restaurant. That I put it back to the restaurant, and I realized these guys, I knew what they wanted. Well, nobody's picking them up. I don't have a car. Mm-hmm. So I go, Evan, I got a car. Will you pick them up? Yeah. Okay, you got the gig.
Yep.
So whether I was the best or not the best, I was the chauffeur. Now, that's my end.
Well, and if you kind of think about it too, if you own a restaurant and a successful restaurant, the only way to own a successful restaurant is to know how to do every single thing in it. And you're literally driving the car, bartending, like getting up on stage, doing all of that. You kind of like owned the club in a way.
Owning the thing. And what happens here, it's exactly what it is. So that gets you in the door. Now, if you work and you do the gig and you're funny, that's your bonus. That's going to get you through the door. And that's what happened with me. So funny. You just remind me of something. We're doing a gig. This is in Scarborough, which is, like a suburb of like Bloomington, Minneapolis. It's like a suburb of Toronto.
Oh, it's Toronto.
And Toronto.
Why did I think that was New York?
And Toronto. Yeah, there's one in New York too. So it was an Irish pub run by like Greek Macedonian guy. There's a lot of the Massies, whatever. Now I say Macedonian, I mean the other one, not ours.
Right. Which
is always the thing. And they keep telling me, I'm like, whatever, Alexander was Greek from Macedonia, so fuck off. I don't care what you think. Again, I'm gonna make the statement. Anyway, so I have a friend of mine. His name's Fix. Let's leave it at that. Fix. He fixes things. And
I love a fixer.
The Fix is good. And we're buddies. Me and these two other comics did this gig. Now imagine this is like a Tuesday night gig. And it's at a pub. And the whole deal was $600, 150 to the agency and 150 to each comic. Again, 3 comics. So we go to do the gig. It wasn't very busy. And with the guys. So we go to get this guy. His name's Steve, I think. He goes, yeah, we didn't do good tonight. So I'm only going to give you guys $50 each. I go, no, that's not the deal.
Yeah.
Because if it does good, I said, we're pay or play. I mean, we were here.
Right.
We did the gig. And he goes, no, fuck off. I'm giving you guys $50 each, So, I mean, at that time, with the other comics, he goes, hey, they only gave us $150. Who calls me? The Fix. Where are you? Oh, we're at this Irish pub run by a Macedonian guy in Scarborough. I'm coming by. So Fix shows up. We're sitting there. He goes, what's going on? Why is everybody upset? I go, this malaka isn't going to pay us. Which guy? That guy there? Yeah. He's not paying us because, we did the show. Give me a minute. Fix goes behind the counter. Okay. Talks to the guy. All you see, now imagine if you're visualizing it. He talks to the guy. Then you see the guy go over to the cash register. Opens the cash. Peels out another $300. Comes back. Fix comes around. Here's your $300. Now I'm with other 2 comics, right? And I go, what'd you tell him? I took care of it with him.
Fix is never going to tell you what he says.
He did.
He did? What
he did. And that's what he said. He goes, that's my friend. He goes, the deal is $150 each for the guys. So here's how it goes down. You either give them the $150, or what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it to them. And that $150, the $450 now, it becomes $900 Monday and goes up $450 every week. Compounded interest. But guess what? That guy was fucking us anyway. So it's like, I know it sounds wrong, but he got us our money.
Yeah.
Because that guy knew who he was. And he goes to me, I go, and then, the guy's like, should we give him something? I go, I said, Fix, get me a coffee at Tim Hortons. We're good. To him, it was small potatoes. But these are comics. They saw what just happened. Now Angelo's in the Greek mob. So now they go tell every comic, you'll never guess what happened, because comics love these stories. We were playing at the pub.
Put it in their gig.
Oh, no. They were like, we were doing the gig. The guy fucked us. He wouldn't pay us the money. Then Angie's buddy Fix came by. He went behind the counter, told the guy this. He gave him the money, gave him money. This guy's connected. You don't want to fuck with this guy. You don't want to fuck with Tsarouchas.
Oh my God.
So now the word's out that I'm connected to the mob because comedians are crazy. So I'm doing this thing and I work with one comic. She's funny, very funny girl. She goes, okay, I got to ask you. I go, what? We're driving to a gig and she goes to me, are you connected to the mob? I'm not connected to the mob.
But wait, how'd you meet Fix?
I mean, Fix. I met Fix through the Greek network. We're hanging out on Danforth in Greektown. Through friends, we became friends.
And you're just like, he's cool, you're cool.
He's a really cool guy. And he's a dude.
Yeah.
He's a brother. If I could always really, and he's such a good guy. But not the guy you want to screw with.
Clearly.
And I didn't use his name because just Fix.
No, the Fix is
great.
The Fix is amazing.
We don't need to use names.
No, absolutely not.
And now he thinks this is like, but
is he still in Toronto?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
It's back and forth. And it's funny because I'll never forget that night when we were there. And it was like, now the comics think. And Fix would come around. He'd bring some of his friends. He'd come to the shows. Now they
Showing
think.
support. I love that.
Yeah, they would show up, man. They loved
that.
that. And they knew them at the club. They'd show up, and the guys knew. So the rumor out was, do shows with Tsarouchas. You're always going to get paid because he just makes a call. And it was so funny because I thought to myself, well, I was upset because I needed the $150.
Totally.
And to him, it was like, oh, no. You're getting your money. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So these guys would go, so this one female comic I work with, she's so funny. She goes, so you're not connected to the mob? No. She goes, I just found it so hot. I thought you were. I go, guys connected to the mob never say they are. She goes, I figured that much. She goes, what is it? She goes, why can I just be attracted to a man with a regular job? But no, she goes, I'm attracted to this comic who's connected to people. She goes, I just intriguingly love it. It's funny why people, their personas are attracted to the shows like The Sopranos
100%.
and this and that. They just, because it's something that they would never do that these people would do.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
and you think about it, like Americans in general, but I think people they like danger. They like it the entertainment industry, sex, danger, like anything like that.
Yeah.
Were you working anywhere else at that time, or it was like
Yes.
solely comedy?
So I was working, delivering newspapers in the morning, 4 a.m.
So you leave the club and go.
Oh, yeah, I
basically
go delivering 4 a.m. newspapers for the Toronto Sun, telemarketing, sales for the Globe and Mail. I was a courier.
Huh.
I worked part-time at my friend had a burger restaurant in Scarborough. He was stuck. I would go 2 days a week and work there. I had about 4 or 5 jobs because I needed to pay rent that comedy wasn't paying. That's why I was, slowly. Then I met Connie, who was my agent at in Toronto, and then Characters, great agency. And then within 2 weeks, I got a Ford commercial. Then I started getting commercials. Then I saw my life changing. New headshots, acting. I was taking an acting class at the Actors
You
Network.
have money for acting classes.
Now I got money for acting classes.
Yeah.
So I invested. Funny, didn't have much money. The little bit of money I had, I put it in there because I knew I needed it to expand what I was doing.
Did you always want to do acting too, or it was just like
Yeah.
a natural progression?
It kind of just natural. I always wanted to be a comic, but the acting came knocking on the door. So I figured, in the words of my dad, if you're going to do something, do it right. So I thought, well, to be better at this, because acting and stand-up's 2 different games. So you wanted to do it. And then I started getting gigs. And I studied at Actors Network with Glenn Bang, who was this crazy Korean who's fucking brilliant teacher. Keanu Reeves and Nev Campbell went to the same school.
Really?
Just the kind of guy.
Are they Canadian?
They're
I
Canadians.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, they're Canadians. And it's so funny because it was like we went there and the way he did things, and then later on it applied to me. Like, everything we learned applied. Shit, now I get what he was saying, you know? And we started doing that, and then started doing films and television and getting all the shows. And it was great.
What was it like, that first commercial that you booked? Was that your first time on set?
Yeah. I mean, I had done an indie film in Ottawa called, no, it wasn't, because I did an indie film in Ottawa. It was called Two's a Mob,
Okay.
spoof of the Mafia.
Sure.
I played Fax
This is like
Lorenza,
your career progression.
career thing.
Yeah.
And then I ended up doing a television series. My first real gig was on a show called The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo.
Okay.
It was Irene Ng from the Joy Lock Club and Pat Morita,
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid. And I played hard-boiled detective Jake Muldoon. And it's a kid show. And she's a teenage sleuth, and I'm a cop. But they liked the chemistry between me and Irene. And I ended up doing like 12 or 13 episodes of this show. It's a kid show.
Yeah.
But good gig. You know, and I was shooting in Montreal. And that was my first gig. I went on my first gig, and I booked it, and then it was there. And I thought, wow, this is so easy. Little did I know.
You weren't nervous, like when you were on set or anything?
I was, but I mean, I was nervous, but I didn't have time to think about it.
Okay.
I remember my lines. And they go, she picks up the thing in the police station and the precinct and says, "Who does needlepoint in here?" And I show up and I go, "Mr. Whiskas, you naughty kitten, where'd you go?" And Detective Muldoon, "You do needlepoint?" And I realize somebody's watching. It helps me unwind, and I leave. I remember that. Don't ask me what I had yesterday for lunch.
That's amazing.
And it was Pat Morita, who's the Karate Kid. I couldn't, like, I'm sitting on set going, "That's a fucking Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off." And I couldn't believe I was talking to him. Like, wow. Like, for me, I was just a comic from Ottawa. And there's the Karate Kid, the dad, sitting there. "How you doing? I'm Pat. Hey, Pat, I'm Angelo." I'm like, wow, what? It was so cool. And then we ended up working a lot together. We took some pictures. He studied voice characterization with Mel Blanc, who was the voice of all the Merry Melodies and Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like,
there's a lot of voice actors out of Canada too.
A lot of voice actors and a lot of great ones here in LA. I mean, it's everything. So video games and
yes,
and Call of Duty and all that stuff. And now I'm starting to get back more into the voice acting stuff because everybody's voice has a distinct ring to it. So I'm working on that, building a studio. You guys do here. You got this great setup here. And you could tell when you go to something professional like this, the lights. I like that you guys got the lights up and look at the whole. I feel like I'm on like Entertainment Tonight or something.
Ooh,
here.
I'll take that.
Yeah, it's true. Or you go to some of them like, "Oh, hold the can, hold the can because the lights are. There's a shadow. Hold this." Well, you're like this the whole time holding.
Okay,
oh yeah, it's better. We can see it better now. But yeah, I mean, it's so weird. But you gotta take the plunge. Just fucking do it. Like, I mean, everybody's so, look, you're here and I'm there, right? I said to my friend last night, "Come meet us at Norm's." He's in, he lives over by Toluca Lake. "Oh, I don't know. It's late." I go, "There's no traffic, Malacca. Just fucking come. There's no traffic. You'll be here in 15 minutes.
Yeah, literally.
You have a car."
Yeah.
He's like 43 years old. "I'm gonna stay home. It's get up now." I go, "You're not married. You have no kids.
Get over here.
Come and meet some
Wednesday
people."
night.
It's Wednesday night. What are you doing? Because he kept texting me. "What are you doing?" "We're gonna come and hang out. Come to the store." Yeah, I can't.
But you took the plunge
Right
when you were like in disarray.
Yeah.
So how do people take the plunge when they're kind of in a comfort zone?
Well, see, this is the thing. You got to get out of your comfort zone. And who knows
Would
that
you
better?
ever want those-
Who knows that better than Greeks? Don't get too comfortable. Don't spend your money.
Yeah.
So the thing was, you got to understand, at 33 years old, I started my life over again.
Yeah.
At 33, people were like, "My friend, I can't go anywhere." Just go. Because the thing is, even if you're in a comfort zone, See, I was making good money in Toronto.
Mhm.
I could have got a nice place. I didn't. It wasn't my final stop. LA was my final stop.
How did you know when it was time to come to LA?
Because what happened was this. What happened was I did Just for Laughs Festival, the biggest comedy festival in the world. It's in Montreal. I'd moved to England for 2 years. Well, I wasn't supposed to.
Was there a girl?
Yes. But what happened?
Always.
I mean, yeah, you kind of starting to get the pattern here. So what happened was I went there to do BBC, The World Stands Up. My first gig was on television. And my brother goes, because they saw me in Montreal Festival.
Okay, got it.
They invited me. He goes, oh, would you like to come over and do the BBC? I'm like, oh, sure.
Yeah.
Fly over to London and we'll put you on the BBC.
And you can pop to Greece.
Some chips. You get some chips with us, which we call fries. Do you want some chips with your chips? So I went there and I stayed with a friend of mine. And, she lived in a very nice area. And I met her at acting class, and then her and her husband broke up. And then she was going through some stuff and she was, you stay with me. And I said, sure. And I was going for 3 weeks, Katia, and I stayed for 2 years.
I mean, that doesn't sound bad to me.
It's not bad. And then I started working. And the thing about England, they just kept working me.
How did you work in England though?
So I had an agent there.
And you don't need a visa?
I got a visa.
Okay.
So I'm still with him. And we're still friends.
Oh, cool.
And I'm going back to England to do shows in Ireland in October. And he gave me the visa. He goes, I'll get you the visa. I got gigs. So what happened? I kid you not. I did the gig for BBC World Stands Up at the Comedy Store in London in Piccadilly Circus. Mm-hmm. Same name as this one, but not the same owners.
Okay.
Fantastic club. And the guy comes up to me and goes, you're brilliant. We loved your performance. Do you want more shows? Yeah. He goes, do you want to go to Dubai next week? And me, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Didn't even say no.
100%.
He goes, so I'm like sitting there going, okay, I left. I was in Canada. I hadn't moved to LA yet. I'm in Canada. And then I went to do a couple of shows, stay for a couple of weeks in London. I do one show, only show I've ever done outside of Canada, like in England. Then the guy goes, we have a spot to go. So I go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Oman.
Oh my God.
Like place I've never been. And
That's
you want to go, just go.
And what happens to your life in Canada? Like, where's all your stuff?
Well, I have a place in Canada. I was living there. I left it there.
You left it there.
I told my landlord, I prepaid him a couple of months, right? He goes, okay. He was Greek. He didn't care. As long as you paid him, he didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So we went there. And then he goes, and I called, I won't say, there was, at that time in my life, post-divorce, there was a few female friends. Okay.
Yeah, a little
trying to be
stage.
Polite about this. A few of them.
You would have accepted offers on cruise ships is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, at that time. Yeah, okay. I was seeing a few people, but I was open about it. I said, look, I came out of a divorce. I'm going to tell you right now, I think you're awesome. I like being with you, but I'm doing this comedy thing. I'm traveling. I'm just going to be honest with you that you may not be the only person I'm going to sleep with.
All right.
And if I do, I'll tell you. I'll be honest. And it's funny because I needed to, I was trying to, after divorce, I just said, I'm not going to get married, but I really want to try everything. So, but
again, player stage.
The player stage, but at the
you're
time,
open about it.
But open and honest. Like you have to say, look, this is what's going on. If you don't like it, we're good. So I had an overlap, and I told one girl, I said, look, I'm not going to lie to you. This and this happened. I've been seeing this other person. I've been seeing you. I said, I don't feel good about it. But I don't want to be that guy that fucks you over. I'm going to be honest with you. And I said, I'm willing to take the consequences, but I'm just letting you know that while I've seen you, I've seen her. Okay. Just so she says, give me time to process this, but I'm not going to say I'm happy about it. And then she goes and has the avocado toast or talks to her girlfriends and says, then she calls me back and says,
Is this the girl in London?
No, there's a girl in, one was in Montreal, one was in Toronto.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. We'll use cities. If they're watching this. So, and she called me back and she said, because after I had a steady girlfriend in Toronto, I got rid of the rest. But she said to me afterwards, I talked to my girlfriends and you're the first man to be honest with me. You told me the fucking truth. So because you told me the truth, I'm okay with it.
Gets you places.
And she goes, you're honest. And her girlfriend said to her, he told you the truth. Every other douchebag didn't. And I did it because I don't want to hurt her. And I don't want to be deceitful in the sense that, not that I'm a saint, I'm not. But I don't want to be deceitful where like, oh, I'm seeing Katia and I'm seeing Maria. Well, yeah, can we go Thursday night? No, we're going to Zonku Chicken.
Katia is always going to meet Maria.
And Katia's going to meet her at some point.
It's always going to
happen. And you'd be like, hey, what's going on here? We're just having shawarma.
Yeah.
She's my cousin from Greece. No, she's not. You hold hands with your cousin and kiss her?
Yeah.
We have a very close family. But you see, so when I'm in England, I said, this happened. Then I was doing these expat shows. So I had to clear that part of my life up. I'm living with a woman in England.
Is that a romantic relationship?
It wasn't. It could have been.
Okay.
It could have been. It was always there, but I chose not to because it wasn't necessary.
Right.
And this person, I respected her. It could have been, but I didn't because I was staying there and it was a really nice place. And I don't want to screw it up, right?
Totally.
You're
smart.
No. I don't need to screw up this. We were living in South Kensington, 3 blocks from Hyde Park, very posh, very nice.
What did she do?
The comic show. She was working at CNN.
Okay.
She cast her and was married to somebody. And, she was set up nice. And I just happened to be there as a roomie. That's right. Roommates. And we hung out and she was going through some health issues, which I helped her with and stuff, but now she's good. And it's so funny because everybody thinks, the problem is when you live with a woman, our society's like, that's all you think of. So no. And I've lived, best roommates I had were women.
The best roommates I've had were men. That were not like relationship.
No relationship.
Yep. 100%.
Now, there's always that night. It's like an earthquake. It's always like you're always saying, "Oh no, we're friends. We're friends. Nothing happens." And then whatever it could. I'm not saying it would, but it could. It's just weird, and I think it's primal. Sure. You can't fight it.
Sure.
If you're attracted to each other, whether it's on a this level or sometimes you're attracted to somebody here, as opposed to, and to me, intelligence is always the most attractive thing, and laughter, and
that makes sense.
It makes you want what you do, and that's what my wife. I tease her, and she's wonderful. I mean, I don't have that itch. That's a lie. Sometimes I'd rather be married 50 weeks a year, and I tell her that. She goes, "Well, we can make an arrangement," and I'm like, "Oh fuck." Yeah, it's so funny that she gets it. I'll say that as a joke, that she gets it. But then I realized, what? I just went with it. Then I was doing shows in Japan, and Hong Kong, and Macau. Then I with Russell Peters, my best friend. He took me to Australia, New Zealand, Singapore. I said, "Fucking going to South Africa, going to places." I'm like, "What am I doing here?" But here.
So the whole time, did you ever find yourself like in an ego sense, or were you able to remain humble?
No, I remain humble.
But how?
Because I would go back to 1998. My dad, my business, and my ex-wife.
So there's always that emotion.
Always in my brain. And this is how we're raised. Have fun, not too much.
Yeah.
Spend money, not too much. Take some time off, not too much. So I knew it was a privilege.
Mhm.
It still is to me. Like, I mean, I even going on a cruise, whatever, I realized this is the job. This is how I earn my living. This is how I support my family. So I never let it go to my head. There was a time I was doing more TV and film work than comedy. It's kind of great for your ego, but I knew it was a privilege. And I knew it was nothing without the work. To have talent is a gift. The gift is nothing without the work.
So you're always kind of searching as well, like during that time? Like
Always.
yeah.
I don't feel I've accomplished anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I have, but I don't have that attitude.
But you're positive at the same sense.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not negative about it.
I get that, because like I get when you're don't feel like you've accomplished anything, but there's still like a pessimistic attitude to it.
Right. Because
you don't have that.
No, because think about it. It's like we hosted a show at the Comedy Store. That's like the number one most famous club in the world. And we got all these Canadians that I produced the show that we put it there. We're working there. How many people want to be there doing that?
Yeah.
Lots. But that's not the point. The point is that I know my acknowledgements. I've been acknowledged on the acknowledgements or the achievements, which is great. But I also learned you're only as good as your next gig.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, I appreciate it. I take nothing for granted. When you said to me, come and do this, come and do my podcast, I'm honored because you can pick anybody, but you asked me. And I'm thinking that's really cool. So I could have said, I don't know these people.
Yeah.
What? But then what happens if you become the next Oprah or something? And they go, hey, Katia, fuck you. When we had our podcast, you never came. That's not why I did it. I'm saying, you're nice. Totally. And Alina said she sounds really nice. I go, yeah, you came up to me last night. And you were like, I'm Katia. I go, oh, hey, great. This is great. I said, so funny. I told my wife, and she was there last night.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, Katia came up, this really pretty Greek girl. She goes, how come you didn't introduce me to her?
Oh, shit.
And she starts pulling my leg. She goes, well, you didn't want me to meet her? No, well, you go have your little podcast with your little Greek woman today? And I think it's funny, right? It's her fucking with me now. And I said, she's Armenian. Where we go? I went out with this guy. I went to Burning Man with that guy. Okay, why don't you show me all the guys you went out with? I said, we'll go to Canada. I'll show you mine. But that's why it works.
Yeah.
100%. We both get it.
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't get, you're not a possession. You're not we're partners.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And she likes that. And I go, whatever. I tell her stuff, she laughs, she was, whatever. She knows.
It helps that like Armenians are like Greek cousins.
Very much. Greek cousins for sure. And then, it's funny, my daughter, who's half and half. So men's mama in Armenian is grandma.
Okay.
So when men's mama says to my daughter, are you Armenian or Greek? And she goes, men's mama, I'm Greek, like my dad. And she starts crying. I can't believe it. Then she goes to see Yaya in Montreal. And Yaya, which is grandmother in Greek, says, so, honey, are you Greek or are you Armenian? She goes, yeah, I'm Armenian like my mom. Klamata, more tears. And then she goes, was that good, Daddy? It was great. She knows. She's fucking with both of them. And I told my mom, she said that to me. I go, she said the same to the other one.
And growing up in LA, you've got an entertainer right there.
Right there. She's an entertainer.
It's going to be a whole thing.
She's an entertainer.
But how did you get to LA?
So what happened was shortly after that was going on. I did an Edinburgh Festival show, which is the biggest fringe comedy festival in the world. Edinburgh. If you've never been to Scotland, you got to go. I got to do that festival in Edinburgh. I had my own show called The World's a Whore at the Pleasance beside.
The World's a Whore?
The World's a Whore.
Oh, a whore. Okay.
This is how I felt at the time. And it was at the Pleasance beside up in Edinburgh, Scotland. In Scotland. Where are you from? You're from Canada. My brothers live up in Canada, up in Edinburgh, Scotland. They love the Scottish. They always thought I was from, are you from New York? I'm not from New York. I said, so my agent gets a call, CBS. Call you wait for. She goes, they saw you at the festival.
No way.
They loved your comedy. They loved you. They saw you again at your show in Edinburgh. And Peter Golden at the time, the head of casting at CBS, they want to meet you and talk to you.
But they didn't come up to you at the show? They
No,
just called you.
no,
Okay, that's how that works.
That's how it works.
Okay, got it.
They saw me. Now it may be different now. Then I'm at the festival. They called my agent because they have the books. They see.
Sure.
I guess they scouted me. They liked whatever I did, so they want to meet with you in LA. Well, I thought, when they say you wait for the call?
Yeah.
I said, well, they're calling from LA, and somebody there took notice. So I finish Edinburgh Festival, and around November, I come down and I meet with them. And they have me read on, now I'm in the process of getting my visa, the work visa, O1,
Okay.
to come to America. Even if it's Canadian, you need it.
Right.
Because you can't work here. And they said,
Can you audition without it?
you can audition, but
Okay.
you can't book.
Okay, so if they
An audition
book
is
you,
considered, they would have to get you the work papers.
they would have to get it.
Right, but it's very rare now. They want you to have it before.
But
You
can't
can audition.
get it if you're not working, right?
Right. It's
So
a
it's like
catch
double-
22.
Yeah.
So what they said was, we liked you for the CBS sitcom show. And how long is it going to take you to get your visa? I told them, okay. So I read for them. They met with me, met with the directors. It was a good meeting. And I thought, you know what? Maybe this is the time to come to Los Angeles. I'd been here once before just to check things out.
Okay.
I had some friends living here. I came for about a week, just to see it.
What was your first impression?
I loved it.
Before you moved here.
Before I moved here, it was like, before I thought, LA, it's like, Hollywood, palm trees. It just, I kind of had an idea, but when I got here, I liked it. I liked the weather. I just like the vibe. I rented a car. You did what everybody does. Griffith Observatory in Hollywood, and you go to, Santa Monica, and I was staying over here. I stayed over here on Beverly at the Beverly Laurel Hotel where Swingers is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cool motor hotel.
Yes.
There's parties going on there every night. I had friends who would go stay there. At the time then, I was only paying $65 a night for the hotel.
No way.
Now it's like 150,
Yeah.
$200, whatever.
I think it's a Pally House now. It's like
yeah,
the whole
something like
thing.
that.
Yeah.
And that was the impression I got of coming to Los Angeles. So they said, you know what, I'm going to move here. And then again, like everything in my life, there was a woman. So we were gonna, she's a great actress and stuff. We were gonna come here together. We had a bit of a thing going on. We were moving together. We came in November after. She found a sublet apartment. I said, let's go for 4 or 5 months and, pilot season.
Yeah.
She found a sublet apartment in Studio City. And I said, we'll rent the car. We can move there.
Were you guys going to move in together?
Yes.
Okay.
We're moving together. She had broken up with her boyfriend, allegedly. I was when you ask somebody, are you going out with anybody? Kind of. Okay, it's bullshit. You are or you're not. Don't just kinda.
I love how this is like a dating advice.
It's like a dating advice site too.
Brilliant.
But it's so important because you're alone a lot. So we came here. She's wonderful, great dancer, actress, and she didn't come. And we came to see everything. We put a deposit. We were coming back in January. She had a medical issue. I waited extra for her, but I think.
Did she call you?
She got, no, yeah. She was,
Okay.
it was I was still in Toronto and we were coming here together in January. She had a medical issue. Thank God it wasn't dangerous. But then I waited. And then I got the idea that she didn't want to go anymore.
Okay.
She got cold feet. So what happens? I got to go. I'm done. I got rid of my place. I'm going. I came down, did shows in Sacramento.
Did you drive?
No, I flew.
You flew.
I flew.
But how do you
rented
move
a
to
car.
LA without a car, right?
Yeah, so I rented a car.
Okay.
At that time, it was rent for less.
Yep.
You get the car at that time for what, $450 a month. Great deal.
Yeah.
PT Cruiser. Remember those ones?
Yes.
PT Cruiser. So we did that. So I came to LA, did that. And then funny thing was that I met the guy who gave me the keys for the sublease at In-N-Out Burger in Van Nuys at midnight on a Sunday night. Here's your keys. Went to the apartment. There was 2 futons. Put a sheet on it. Put my luggage there. The internet plug was still working. Plugged in my computer. Put it on K-Earth LA. Low music. Fell asleep. Woke up. Didn't know where the hell I was. I was in LA. Didn't know anybody here. Just came.
You didn't know anyone.
Didn't know anybody. I mean, I had some friends here.
Okay.
But like when I mean nobody, it wasn't like familiar territory.
Right.
I'm in this place.
And LA is like overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
It's so big. It's so spread out.
So you make your own universe, showing your own
100%.
world, and then that didn't work out. So there, I thought she was going to come. I was hoping she was going to come be roomies with me, and maybe more, but that didn't happen. And then when I found two other comics, Christine and Nikki Payne, both funny girls, both Canadians. They were renting from some priest. They got kicked out of there. I had a big two bedroom. One of the bedrooms was big with a private bath. So they're like, come to this place, $500 each a month with internet, which was cheap for all of us. So we became roomy, three of us.
Oh my God.
And comics. And then we had a fourth one after, Anna, who was on Lost Girl. Anna Silk.
So it was you and three girls?
Me and three girls.
You just like write sitcoms basically.
We're all on this.
Like your life is like
and
a
then
sitcom.
Anna ended up becoming, she ended up booking. I introduced her at my cigar shop to Abe Hawk, who's a huge agent. Big, massive. He used to be the VP for Swan Song Records, Led Zeppelin. One of those guys. Great guy. We're still friends. He's in Nebraska now. He's married again. And she met him. She's in LA 2 days. I drove her she tests and books a show, but didn't have her paperwork. I go, should I come here? I go, you stupid? Yes. And then she ended up getting a Lost Girl, the one on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
And she's another smoke show. We're roomies. It was, and then the other one found out, I can't believe you're living with her. I had my own soap opera going on. I said, I was waiting for you and you didn't come down. But then she came down and I said, well, my other roommates were leaving. Let's be roommates. That's all it was, No, it's not. You're fucking lying to me, whatever. And then she became successful and had her own show. And now she's married, has her own family. She's great. I'm condensing it.
Yeah.
Because we can't talk about everything.
Can't talk about everything.
Not everything. We're condensing it. It's nice. And it was good. And everybody, so now it's like, and then, so that's where I was. And then now I was going to stay for 3 years. I ended up getting.
You had a time, you're like, this is it.
3-year visa. I thought 3 years. 3-year visa. And then I was going to go back to England.
Okay.
So 3 years in the last 2 months.
Of those 3 years?
Those 3 years. I auditioned for a movie called Fred and Vinny.
Wait, what did you do in those 3 years though?
I was just hustling gigs.
Okay.
So I was still going to Canada. I went to England a few times.
All right.
I was auditioning. I got an agent, hustling gigs, I finally got in at the Laugh Factory.
Do you have to have a different agent in America than Canada?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes they work together, but not often.
Not often. Okay. So you're still doing comedy.
Still doing comedy.
You're not waitressing or waiter.
No, because I couldn't.
Oh, you
in
can't.
America, you can't. You can only work O1 visa, only film and TV stuff. That's it. I mean, you can work under the table. Yeah, you can't do any other
you
jobs.
You could find some Greek diner. And,
you could. I could.
Yeah.
That was offered, but I didn't have to at the time. So I was still getting work. So what happened, I went up for an audition.
Are you sweating at this point? You're like, my 3 years is up.
3 years is up. Do I extend it?
And you can extend it. It's not like
I could.
Get out.
I could extend it, but I was debating it. It's tough. LA stuff. You come here, you need to do stuff is tough. So I'm thinking, what do I do? And what I did, and my agent sends me on a show. There's a show called Mad Men.
Mm-hmm. Just a small show. A small show called
and I went that day to play the bouncer at the Playboy Club. And Matthew Weiner, the guy from The Sopranos. And I'm going at Central Casting downtown LA, and I'm seeing all these guys I've seen on all TV shows. I'm like, shit, man. I walk in the room, and I'll never forget what he goes, you're the guy. You're the guy. He goes, do the lines, and I'll give this to you, because you're the guy. And I'm like, because it never happens. I thought he's crazy. I didn't know. Okay.
I've never heard that.
Never. He goes, you're the guy. I guess he'd seen everybody that day. I hit the lines. He loved it. By the time I got to my car, the agent called, you're booked. He booked you. I think I was the look he was looking for.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what they want.
Right.
He goes, do the lines right, and I'll give it to you. Because he was fed up. Because you're the guy.
He's like, I just want to go home.
I guess when I walked in the door, you saw his eyes light up. Like,
that's
fuck.
Amazing.
This the guy. You know,
That's
when the guy,
amazing.
well, you're the girl, you're the guy. And I was like, okay. And I got the job. So I got Mad Men at the time. Looks like a cool show. Little that I know has become one of the best made television
Such a good
series
show.
ever. And so many people watch it now. I was in season 2. And then later, Fred Stoller
Mm-hmm.
from Everyone Loves
Yeah.
Raymond and Friends and all that stuff. He talks like this. We're good friends. Love that guy. He's like a brother. He wrote a movie called Fred and Vinny. And it's about a guy who's the world's fattest agoraphobe
Okay.
who always shops at the dollar store and carries around his baseball cards. So he's the guy that says, hey, can I stay at your house for 2 weeks? And 8 months later, he's still there. That's the guy. You don't know if he's a mooch or not. But it was based on a real guy.
Really?
Based on a real guy. I did this, and then it was like, I got the part. So it was between me and Joy Coco Diaz. 2 of us were going for it. And if I'm not mistaken, John Goodman wanted to play the part too.
Okay.
But they didn't want to make it a John Goodman. I'm like,
Yeah.
I said, don't lie to me. He goes, no, I'm serious.
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Goodman was going to do it for scale. He wanted to play the guy.
Totally.
It was that good. It was that well written. So I did Fred and Vinny, and that won a lot of awards. Went to Sundance and Beverly Hills Festival, all that stuff. Great film. And it was a LA story, built in LA about this guy. Then I realized, you know what? I got Mad Men, I got that, and I got a Showtime special.
Okay.
So I had a 1 hour special on Showtime America, and I'm like, I did this.
Yes.
Again,
Threes.
Showtime, Mad Men,
Crazy.
and
All
Fred and
within
Vinny.
how long?
Within a couple of months.
No way.
Very close to each other, yeah. So
So-
that was an indication. My life, it's weird. It's been always an indication, Katia. It's just weird how it happens.
Yeah. Like, what did LA teach you about this business that the other places didn't? Or I guess
Well,
about yourself.
About
really.
well, the thing is, you really, really got to know who you are
Right.
when you get here.
Right. I heard that people tried to change your name.
They tried to change my name. It's funny. The one agency said to me, "Why don't you Tsarouchas?" Very difficult. Which I said. He said, "You should change your name." I said, "I'm not going to change it.
Yeah.
Too many people died for me to have this name."
I love that.
And he goes, "I don't get it." I go, "Too many people died for me to have this name. Why would I dishonor my descendants by changing it? This is who I am." We were occupied by the Turks and the Germans and everybody else. I go, people died. People died in my dad's village. People died. So I'm supposed to be ashamed of my name? Fuck you. I'm not changing it. And then he goes, I respect that. He understood. I go, you know what, man? I go, it's funny because everybody's got, I think there's no cause that's a bad cause. And a movement is a movement. But I think sometimes I said, look, I'm not asking for special treatment,
Yeah.
but you telling me to change my name is I take it as a direct insult that I'm ashamed of who I am,
Mhm.
and I'm not. So I'm not changing it. And you saw I leave the name Tsarouchas. They can't pronounce it.
Eh.
I met Zach Galifianakis once. He goes, they fuck my name up all the time, but he didn't change it. Melina Kanakaridis didn't change it. She goes, no, it's Greek. We're gonna leave the names. And I realized, she goes, good for you. Don't change your name, Angelo. And I said, you're right. I never changed it. And why should we're teaching people to be themselves,
Right.
and we're teaching people now to accept and love the indifferences that we have in our lives. So by me saying it's okay if you're trans or you're bi or you're gay or you're black or you're blue or whatever, but to change my name, I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And it's going to sound like a seminar, but the change starts here, or don't change.
So, but okay, I love that, first of all.
Right.
Sometimes you have to mold and you have to know when to adjust things.
Right.
And never on the name thing, but how do you personally know what hill to stand strong on and when to be a little bit more?
That's hard. That one
You
is,
know?
I'm still faced with that problem every day,
Okay.
because at the end of the day, it's people, right?
Right.
You're confiding in people, and
Because
even-
everyone's gonna have an opinion on everything.
everybody
that you do.
is like pizza.
Yeah.
Where's the best pizza? Ask 5 people, you get 5 different places.
Mhm.
Oh no, go to this place, or go to that place. So what happens, you got to hedge sometimes and say, okay, I worked with this guy before. I'm in a situation now where we're working on a tour. I worked with a guy who went good. There's been some snags, but other people are calling. But I'm loyal in a sense that I want to stick to the people that have been sticking by me. So I don't try to wave off that. But a lot of times you got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And that's difficult. And it's like what you have to say to yourself is that this is my basis. And now I need to be able to do my work in the best way I can do it. So what's the best scenario?
What's your basis?
Well, the basis for me now, I always say to people, look, this is what I did with you before. I have a track record with you. Everything worked out. We'll do it again. Fuck me over. We're not doing it again.
Love that.
So it's like I always tell people, and somebody says, well, this sounds like a better deal. I can promise you the world and it doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
This may be the devil I know. So I say, look, let me go another time here. I gave my word that we're going to go with this guy. I'm going to do that. Same when I went to Australia. Somebody else tried to jump on. I said, no, I work with this guy. He respected that. He goes, I wish my clients were loyal like you.
Yeah.
So, but you hope.
You got to keep your crew close.
Yes, you got to keep them close, support. And at the same time, within your team, as they say here, at the same time, if you want respect, give it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person doesn't give you the respect, well, fuck them. Move on. Because it's not worth it. And I always tell people, I said, I will respect you as long as you respect me. I know who you are. You know who I am. Let's work together. I want to make money and you want to make money. We want to push this boulder up the hill. That's fine. But let's do it together. I don't believe in one person makes and one doesn't. No, everybody makes. Because that comes, again, if you want to do something successful, bring in the right people to make it successful.
Right.
That's what you need to do, but it's still, it's easier to say than do because something you're still faced in what do we do here now?
Yeah.
Do we go here? Do we go there? I don't know.
And when do you not throw in the towel, but sometimes you got to throw in the towel.
Sometimes you got to say, sometimes you're like, look, I had to do something the other day and I wasn't happy about it, but I was honest with the person. I said, look, I can't do this. I said, I feel bad about this. I'm on hold for something else. That's a sure thing. This isn't. I said not, and it's not personal, but I really have to. But I'm honest. Look them in the eyes and say, look, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And they'll be upset, but then maybe they'll understand later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you pick your projects now?
So now it's like they're doing this film that they want to do as part of a series, like Astoria, my friend Theo Pagonis is doing.
You were talking about this last
right.
night. I'm super interested in this, by the way.
Right. And Sophia Milos just signed on.
Yeah.
I'm on as a producer with it too. My friend Theo's been doing it.
Okay. Did he write it?
He wrote it.
Okay.
It's great
Is
script.
He from Astoria?
No, he's from Seattle.
Oh, okay.
He's from Seattle. He's from Seattle. And he wrote this story. I guess he has a lot of cousins in Astoria, New York, where predominantly Greeks are. And he had this character called Christoforos, which I love. He goes, would you like to play this? I go, yeah, it's cool. And now Sophia Milos, who's on The Sopranos, she signed on. So now Deadline picked it up. It's been a whole bunch of stuff going on. Greek, a reporter. So that's why I gave him a shout out last night. He's sinking in his seat, I'm doing the thing with him. Greeks and Albanians, man, we're the mob. He's laughing at me. He goes, you didn't have to do that. I go, I did have to do that. We got to big each other up here, man.
Hold down your crew.
Hold down. That's it. And they don't think people don't remember those things. They do. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do it. I didn't need to do it because I'm in it. But I wanted to give them kudos on it. Man, you worked hard. A little push on the stage is good. People always appreciate that when they don't expect it. He didn't ask me to do anything. I just did it my own. And he's a good guy. I love the guy. So it's like, we're trying to get this together. So now it's in the process of getting, we're going to shoot the pilot, whatever it takes time to get all the X's and O's lined up together.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
A lot of it. But he's the Antonopoulos crime family, and it's like,
I love
there's intrigue. Idea. And Sophia Milos plays the sister.
Okay.
Who sides up with the Albanians. She has a lover who's a woman.
Oh, Romeo and
a woman. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And she's trying to knock out her brother because it's like Greek soap opera shit, but with mob people. It's great.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it'll be good.
What makes a good comedy club? Like, everyone agrees for the most part that the Comedy Store is like an iconic venue, of course, because of who's gone through it.
Right.
But what makes a good club as a performer?
As a performer, well, like you saw last night, you have Jeff Scott, the piano, you have the room there. That's a great room for comedy.
Sure, yeah.
The acoustics are good and everything. I think at the end of the day, a good comedy club, you have a good area space for the comics. Good sound and lighting is so important. Some clubs you go to, you can't, sound and lighting, good space area, and a calm atmosphere where people feel relaxed.
Okay.
And then
who creates that though?
Well, that's up to the club owners. That, like, if you're improvs or whatever, like you go to some clubs and they'll put a little candle on the tables and they set a mood.
Yeah.
That you have a chicken wings or whatever, a couple of gin and tonics or whatever, and then you're watching the show, and it's like, so it's almost like a good comedy club is setting the atmosphere right. It's like making love to the audience. You can light up some candles,
yeah,
have some snacks, this and that, and then hey, we're gonna do this, but from here to here, and it's like that, and it's the best metaphor I could use for something like that. And people like people left last night. I had a good time. I laughed. It's cathartic. I didn't expect this.
Yeah,
and that's that. And if you give people something they didn't expect and they enjoy it, then they had a good time.
Well, it's kind of interesting too. I think you take advantage, or you take for granted some of these opportunities too. Like, my nephew was just visiting and he loves comedy. Brought him up to Comedy Store about a month ago, and he was like, you can walk there. Like, yeah. I don't think you understand how lucky you are. And we take it for granted. We take talent and creativity for granted. Like, it's pretty wild. So
that's part of living in LA, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
We don't see it like, Angela's here, there's Katia, but they are like, hey, I read about that on TV. They're in like, Fort Wayne, Indiana or something. They come here and they're like, holy shit.
Yep.
That's why the Canadians were making fun of the Canadians. Like, holy geez, we're in LA. You got that chance to go there.
I love it. I love Canadians. They're just like Minnesotans.
Like Minnesotans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So, do you want to do mostly film moving forward, or what's on the horizon? Well,
right now there's a resurgence in the comedy because of COVID.
Right.
We're been working more than ever. So on the road for 8 months.
Is that what feeds your soul though? Still,
it does. It's so weird, the interaction. But having said that, I still love film and TV stuff. So there's been some offers to do some stuff. That's been a little bit quiet, but I see some offers coming in for stuff now. So I enjoy it, doing that stuff. But comedy's instant.
It's always going to be
it's always comedy, but I love comedy. It's the traveling that's just.
Yeah. Right.
You're traveling and I come home for 24 hours leave. I got a family
absolutely.
Now.
I think the movies are back too. Like, I went to the movie theater for the first time last week or this week.
Right.
And I feel like there's finally like that appeal to.
Have you seen Top Gun or Elvis? Which one?
I just saw Elvis.
How was it?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I love Baz Luhrmann. Like, I love how he tells a story. I love that it's over the top. I love that there's like so many. It feels like a circus,
right?
But I think he tells a story well along with it. Right. So that to me was great. I was actually blown away. I can't remember his name. The actor that plays Elvis,
Austin Butler.
Yes. In the trailers and on the prints, I thought that he didn't really look like Elvis, but I thought he did in the movie.
And the movie did. Yeah, so everybody's saying I'm going to see it. No, not yet.
No, okay.
I've seen the trailers. We're going to go see Top Gun tonight.
I haven't seen it yet.
And I'm taking my daughter to see Minions tomorrow.
Okay. See, Minions. The theaters are back.
They're back. And so let's go to the movies. Like, I want to go now.
Yeah.
Because we didn't go all day. All we did was sit at home all day going, what are we eating on Thursday? Oh, we're having chips and eggs, mac and cheese.
The funny thing is about the movies too, like, I was craving movie theater popcorn. Like, I didn't eat all day, and then I just like shoveled in.
All the movie, yeah.
It was so good.
The Slurpees and the giant chocolate bars.
Yeah, I had Raisinets and popcorn. That's my thing. What's your movie snack?
I go to the movies. I like the Twizzlers.
Okay.
Get Twizzlers. You always say the share pack. I never share it with everybody. I say eating the Twizzlers and stuff. But I'm going. This going to the movies tonight. This is the first time. Normally when I go to the movies, I fall asleep.
Really?
Yeah, like
Elvis is long. Don't go see Elvis.
it's long. It's 240.
It's really long.
I went with a friend of mine, a comic, Paul Farfar, in Minneapolis.
Okay.
And it was a Wednesday at the House of Comedy. Show's over. It was early. So the Joker was playing with the Joker. That was a long movie too. I go, hey man, you want to go see the Joker? He goes, yeah, let's go see the Joker, with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep.
It was great. So, that's great. Yeah, I know. I love this genre of films, Hey, let's go see the Joker. I was snoring and he kept pushing me. He goes, dude, and then you woke up at the credits. I go, yeah, I was tired, man. That was a good sleep. It had the right amount of air conditioning and comfort, and you're like, oh, that is great, man. I love this place.
You're probably going to fall asleep at Top Gun, because that's...
Is it long too?
I heard it's
Take
long.
my breath away.
Everything's too long nowadays. We got to cut stuff. We got to cut it off.
Let's cut it off. I'll go to see it.
Okay, so final question.
Yes.
Beyond having someone named the Fix in your life.
Yeah.
What is the best advice in any type of come up in your career, in anyone's career, not necessarily entertainment?
That is a good question, because people ask me the same thing. Be ready for your opportunity and don't say no. I got an opportunity to tour with Vince Vaughn. I worked once with him and we started developing a sitcom. So you don't know when your opportunity will come. Be prepared and just do it. Don't say no.
Don't say no.
Don't say no to the Comedy Store. Don't say no to Vince. Don't say no to Canada. Don't say no to South Africa. Whatever it is, don't say no.
What if you are back and you've got your suitcase, your briefcase, and your plane ticket? How do you make the right call?
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. Well, I did the call. Would I do it again? I don't know.
Yeah, would you do it again?
You have to. Here's the thing, Katia. You have to make a decision.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. They go, oh, I don't know. Should I not? Like, look, make your mind up. It's like you want to go out, you don't want to go out. You want to take the job, you don't want to take the job. There's no bad decision. You have to make one.
And you have to live with it.
And you got to live with it. So I learned a long time ago that I chose this. I live with it. It didn't work out. You move on. But see, we live in a world now where people want which is the right decision. Hey, if we knew this, we'd bottle it and sell it on late night television. We don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. I probably picked a career.
No, because you had to have the whole.
I had to have that.
You gotta have it.
So you chose love. I did.
Yeah.
I did. I want to be this
in your life a little bit.
Yeah, and then it changed everything around now. So it's like, And my wife, it's funny, my wife now, who I adore.
How did you meet her, by the way?
I met her brother did comedy.
No way.
Her brother did comedy.
So she knew what she was getting herself into.
Yeah, and then we together, we kept breaking up. This wasn't easy either. We kept breaking up, but then it was there. And now we have a beautiful daughter. And it's like, I can't see myself not being with her. That's the thing. When you see somebody, you can fight with them, but then you're like, I don't want to. No, you're the one I'm going to be miserable with. I'm not going to go with anybody else. And she goes, well, maybe your next wife. I go, there's no next wife. I said, I'm going to go to Greece and live in the monastery up in Medioria. I'm going to be like one of those monks or something like that. There's no way. I mean, I'm still going to love women, but I'm going to go be a monk. I'm not going to do that.
I love it.
Or open a restaurant.
Or open another restaurant.
A restaurant.
I love it. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Katia. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun today.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. Go see Astoria once it comes out.
Astoria.
I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna see how we can get LJ and I in on this production.
And Astoria.
Yeah.
Astoria, the Antonopoulos family.
I love it.
It's great.
That's great. Cool.